Morris sat opposite me on the sofa in a pair of well-worn grey sweatpants. En Vogue on the stereo. Our game had grown intense when he suddenly smiled and leaned forward. His fingers moved fast as he spelled on the wood. I groaned. How did he get so good at
Oh my God.
Yep.
Okay.
That's done.
Okay. The 90s was a pivotal time in my thirst development.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. I love that. I love that phrasing so much.
You know, and people talk about how right now there's a movement popping in Hollywood, the diversity, you know, inclusive moment where we're trying to show that Hollywood is more than just straight white men, right? But we also had that moment in the 90s.
We did. It was, like you said, pivotal. There was a point at which you turn on the telly and you were more likely to see a black dude than a white one. The 90s really were kind of like a weird Narnia fever dream where there was like a smorgasbord of snacks. Just people out here who weren't straight white men who were just kind of like thriving, not just existing, but thriving. And that's, I think, is like the basis of this 90s episode because we turned on the telly at that time and we were like, oh, hello options.
Right. I remember in high school just going to class and everyone's like, did you see Martin last night? Did you see A Different World? Did you see Living Single? Did you see all these different shows that were on TV,
Right.
let alone the movies that we saw.
Right.
So we're going to talk about some of those stars from those movies. As we heard in your Redacted, we're going to be talking about Morris Chestnut.
Listen, Morris, the man who when I look at him, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Morris. He had something special. And like you pointed out, you know, when we were talking about this earlier, he's still hot.
He's still hot.
What a feat. Won't he do it? Oh, Morris. Yeah. And, you know, we've mentioned this before in previous episodes. It is incredibly corny to describe black people using food items. However, Morris Chestnut remains for me the chocolate emoji. I just want to lick him. And I feel like he would taste actually like chocolate.
Oh, my God. Bam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just whipped up goodness
Yeah.
as we've all thought about Morris
Yes.
Chestnut, just like something silky and good. You have a very special spot for the next guy. Who was that?
Lorenz Tate.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, he's just a little fire plug of heat. I love him so much. He does something for me. He's from Chicago. He's got this accent and his voice just sounds just like, I don't know. I just want it.
Yeah, I get that. Listen, that he's coming from the classic Love Jones, which again was a moment for so many of us in the 90s, and we're going to get into that a little bit. And I have to move on to one of my favorites from the 90s, our token diversity hire of the episode, Mr. Antonio Banderas.
Yes.
Who is, as we know, just a ball of hotness. And, you know, I have this feeling whenever I look at Antonio, which is to say that I feel both hungry but also satiated. And I think that is a unique and special thing. So we're going to get into all of these guys because the 90s were popping and we deserve to pay homage.
Morris Chestnut.
Yes, I feel like we're about to begin story time. Once upon a time, a man named Morris Chestnut existed. Yes, Morris.
He surely did. I went to see Boys in the Hood with my mother.
Wait, what? Okay.
You know, mother-daughter time. Okay.
Sure.
And there is a scene where Morris's character named Ricky.
Pretty Ricky.
Yeah, he's a football player. He is in the locker room wearing just a towel.
I remember.
He's having a little moment. He's thinking about some stuff. He's got a lot on his mind.
That's what I do in a towel.
And he leans back on a bench, like he lays down on the bench. Like he was sitting on it, then he lays down on it. Everybody, all the women, turn their head to kind of look up his towel, which you could not do, right? Because it's a movie and it's not real life. And my mother sitting next to me, I remember this very clearly. She was on my right side. My mother did her very little motherly, which is where I get it from.
Oh my God, this is such a wonderful thing.
And I just kept my face forward because I was like, I cannot believe my mother just grunted at this boy. But
Can I ask how old you were at this time?
I was young. When did Boys in the Hood come out? That was 92.
So Baby Nicole.
I was like 14, 15,
But
something
you were
like.
being introduced to a fundamental
Yes,
first moment.
yes.
It was written in the stars, Nicole.
Yes, and my mother to this day loves her some Morris Chestnut.
Of course she fucking
So,
does.
I mean, I am following in my mother's footsteps.
Like mother, like daughter. I'm sure she's incredibly proud of you, and I am proud of you both.
Oh,
Listen,
man.
Morris, for me, I didn't even watch any of those movies. Like, I didn't watch them at the cinema or anything. So I learned about Boys in the Hood, on VHS, R.I.P. VHS. Same with the Inkwell and all the other kind of little things he
Yeah.
did. But even then, I remember thinking to myself, what an angular man. Like, he's so V-shaped and so square and just so solid. He looks like actually quite an old-fashioned version of hot. He has like, broad shoulders, skinny waist, square face, solid lantern jaw. But then there's something about him. He looks boyish. He
It's
looks
his
charming.
smile.
His smile.
His smile is amazing.
He has these teeth. And it's an amazing smile because it is both warm and lovely and kind of like shark-like.
Yes.
Like he's
And
going to
it's-
like consume you.
Yeah, and it's not a perfectly straight smile. Like he
No.
has like one tooth that's a little
Tiny snaggle.
Yeah, a little snaggle. And he's left it there.
Yes, he has. Because he knows what it does.
In romance novels where they're like the one tooth that show his imperfect smile. This is fucking Morris Chestnut.
He is a romance novel hero.
Oh my
Morris Chestnut is
God.
so beautiful that I remember once looking at him and I swear, unbidden, a small tear came to my eye. And I was just kind of like, how is he even real? How is Morris Chestnut real? Especially in the 90s, at the height of his powers.
Yes.
When he looked like an actual walking snack.
I have another memory
Please,
from the theater.
lay it on me.
The Best Man, where he played Lance, yet
Lance
another football player.
And Lance is a terror of a man. I find him horrific. He's so objectionable. But Morris Chestnut, though.
Oh my God. When Morris Chestnut comes on the screen, like he's entering a club where Terrence Howard's character is playing, right?
Playing guitar on the stage.
Yes.
Classic light skin behavior.
Morris comes in and he just kind of stands and the camera zooms in on him and then he smiles. Every woman in the audience crossed their legs. Now, at this point, we were a little older. I was no longer like the 14,
You weren't
15-year-old.
scandalized by your
No.
mother's grunt.
Well, it wasn't my mother. I was with my best friend, Kalinda. Hey, Kalinda. Every woman had a very strong reaction when he smiled. Like when he came on screen, it was just like, oh, yeah, there he is. And then he smiled. And the thing about The Best Man is that it was directed by Malcolm D. Lee. He knew to give the audience just enough time to react.
Yes.
Which I think speaks to when you have a black director directing a black cast and you know your black audience.
Yes. You know your black female audience.
Yes. You know that there's going to be a reaction and you need to put that in. And so he did that. He gave us the time to laugh.
You sound like such a perv. He gave us the time to observe Morris Chestnut.
Because that's what you need. You need
is what you
it is
need,
like
bro.
looking in the sun. You have to adjust so that you can get your eyes, you don't burn your eyes. Okay. Looking at this beautiful man. I love him so much.
I love him too. Listen, we interviewed him a couple of years back. We were doing a piece on Two Can Play That Game, which is a movie that he made in 1999. And speaking to him on the phone for this piece, we were doing like a retrospective and just kind of going, it's been X years since Two Can Play That Game. We spoke to the cast. And Morris Chestnut on the phone in your ear.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine.
Bruv. I'm a professional, okay? I'm a journalist. I went to journalism school. I have skills and talents. And when Morris Chestnut began speaking, I covered my face and began to giggle and had to clear my throat so I could be like, yes, of course, Mr. Chestnut, quick question. When it came to this film, how did you get the script? Because I was just unable. I literally snorted through my lust. And I just thought, wow. Shout out to my incredible lecturers who imbued in me the spirit of journalism because that's all that saved the day that day. He's so hot to look at. And then on top of it also, he's just like a very charming performer. Like my eye follows him. I want to see. Like I'm like, what is he doing? Where's that smile going? What's he gonna do next?
Yes. I'm gonna go back to The Best Man very quickly
Let's
because
talk about it.
Yeah, there is a moment where Lance is going to beat up Harper.
Yes, I know the scene you're about to talk about and I'm here for it. Go on, tell me more.
And Lance, aka Morris Chestnut,
Yes.
walks in the room and he like kind of kicks out his leg
Yes, he
because he's
does.
like stretching a little bit. And he's like getting ready.
For fight
and
mode.
Yes. It is look, physical violence
Oh,
is
no.
never necessary.
I abhor it. I think it is a terrible, terrible scourge on the planet. And yet,
the way that he prepared his body for that fight, to fight his best friend.
yeah.
They're all drunk at their bachelor party
Right,
and all
right,
this
right.
kind of stuff. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just all legs. Just all
Just
thick,
solid.
muscular
That's it.
legs.
That's it. Again, like I said, Lance in The Best Man is actually kind of a bad character. He has these old ideas about, femininity and womanhood, and he says some things that you're kind of like, oh my God, you're a horror.
And it gets worse in the sequel.
It truly does.
The Best Man Holiday.
Oh my gosh. There's
Lance's character is finally getting married, and he's having these flashbacks of thinking about his wife possibly cheating on him,
Right.
Whatever. And we see Morris Chestnut, like he's shook, like he's like acting, and we don't often get him like acting powerfully in some of these movies,
Yeah.
because quite frankly, he's just there to be pretty and to be,
no problem with that look.
looked at. But he's in this scene, he's crying a little bit, he's getting choked up, and I was just
is.
like, I felt that. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
I mean, a part of me was kind of like, good, you should feel that because
Yeah.
you've been a terror to this woman.
Yes.
But on the other hand, I was like, oh yeah, kudos, Mr. Chestnut. That's called acting. Good job, sir. Good job. So yeah, that's his big kind of 90s. We've spoken about this. That was his heyday. He did The Brothers. He did The Best Man. He did Two Can Play That Game. He played Keith. And I just want to play a clip of where they introduced us to the character of Keith in Two Can Play That Game, because it's actually kind of, it's very cheesy, but also perfect. And it's so of its time. So this is Morris doing that amazing stride of his, walking across the club floor to talk to Shantae, played by Vivica A. Fox.
Now, if I'm right about you, all answers to these questions will be yes.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay, well, let's see.
Do you like chocolate?
Yes.
Do you think that I find you attractive?
Yeah.
If I were to kiss you right now, would you slap me?
Yes.
Don't you find me attractive?
Now, you can't see this. We're going to put a clip up on our Tumblr. But when he says that, he smiles. And I'm like a dumbass. I'm smiling back like, yeah, I find you attractive. Which is how you know I am not okay. But that scene is so... Oh my God. Oh my God. I literally have goosebumps. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, he plays some characters where, he's a little bit of a player or he's done some dirt and then it gets turned around on him a few times in the 90s career. And I love that. His career did not end in the 90s. Like
That's a miracle.
he's done some television recently. He recently starred in Rosewood.
On Fox.
On Fox.
On a major network.
Yeah, he had at least 2 seasons of that before it was canceled. He also had a quick run in American Horror Story, Murder House.
Oh, I did not watch that.
Yeah, he was a security guy, and you just have to watch it. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it because he's a little sexy, but also you're concerned for him.
I mean, he can't help being sexy.
He cannot. Oh my God.
Bless Morris Chestnut. And like you said, his career has continued. He did like a, how do you say, middling thriller with Sanaa Lathan and Michael Ealy called The Perfect Guy.
Yes.
I saw like 10 minutes of that and I was like, nah, it's not for me.
Now, I went to the theater to see this.
Oh my
okay?
God, you paid money?
Yes.
I'm proud of you.
Because I do think it's important to see Black people in thrillers.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and obviously this was before Get Out and things like that.
Yep.
But I would recommend it as a wine and popcorn movie at home when you're just like, let me just put it on. And I'm glad to see that his career has continued well beyond the 90s and that he's still getting work. And he's just, again, just a beautiful, talented
Black man.
As I stand here beside you this day, know that there is nothing greater than love.
We're going to move on to a brand new 90s man. This is your favorite, Nicole.
Absolutely.
This is a young, well, not so young, man by the name of Lorenz Tate.
I love him so much.
Every time you talk about him, your face kind of like crinkles up. You get real kind of like spaced out looking. And I really enjoy seeing you that way. You get all soft. You love him.
I really do. He's from Chicago and he has this kind of accent and voice that just sounds like Chicago. I don't even know because if someone were to say, "Oh, I'm from Chicago," I would not be able to recognize that they were from Chicago from their accent. But with someone to say, "Oh, I'm from Chicago," I would not be able to recognize that they were from their accent. But with Lorenz Tate, I'm like, "Yes, you sound like Chicago to me."
Oh,
It's
really?
weird. I don't know.
You sound like a lady in love, aka illogical.
But he's kind of short.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
I'm proud of
But
you.
he's got
Growth.
all this energy to him, and but also he's very smooth and suave, and then he also plays these kind of angry men, right?
Oh.
Yeah, like he's
He got some hidden rage.
yeah, I think that's some Napoleonic kind of stuff, right? Short dudes always ragey. But whatever it is, I like it. And
God.
he was in an Ashanti video, "Rain on Me," where he was
Sorry, it's called Rain on Me.
yeah.
I love Ashanti, but man, that's a name for a song, isn't it? Go on.
And he was not a good person. He was actually abusive. The character he played was her boyfriend, and he was like upset that she was famous and was, whatever, growing, and he was not.
It's the classic tale. Classic tale. Yeah.
And he was awful. And there's like this one moment where he's looking in the mirror and the lights like dim, so his eyes go black and it looks like he's a demon. I'm like, okay, Ashanti.
Well, some men are demons, Nicole.
This is true. But Lorenz has this beautiful smile. He's so boyish,
Yes,
and it's
yes.
not because he's small in stature,
No.
but he just has this kind of like,
He's youthful.
he's youthful.
He has like this real sweet energy to him.
Yes.
And I think that is something that I respond to. Like when he smiles,
Yeah.
I smile back at him.
Yeah. And it's interesting because one of the first times I saw him was in Menace to Society, where he
Yes.
played O-Dog.
What a name.
It takes place in South Central Los Angeles. O-Dog was a violent person. He was someone hardened by his community,
I mean,
as they would
it
say.
happens.
The movie opens with O-Dog and Kane going into a corner store, and they get into a fight with Korean store owners, and, all hell breaks loose. Somebody ends up dead, and, whatever. O-Dog takes the tape of the situation and just plays it for people in the hood, just like
Like it's a movie?
like it's a movie. He's very proud of what happened and what went. He was miserable,
O-Dog.
But O-Dog had this hairstyle that was just a Red Sea part down the middle, and then he had these extensions, these braids that came down, very like blunt cut right to his eye. I loved O-Dog so much.
That you did what?
Not me.
Uh-huh.
I loved O-Dog so much that my high school boyfriend at the time, got his hair done like O-Dog.
Women are terrible.
I didn't even tell him to, but
You
I guess
didn't?
I was just going on and on about O-Dog
He
so
just
much.
picked up some clues.
Maybe a little bit.
Oh my God.
I'll have to look somewhere. There are some prom pictures of me and my boyfriend and him in this hair. Oh, my accent is coming out because I'm like all the way back to just being 16 again. But, and it looked terrible because his hair wasn't long enough. He had to get extensions.
I didn't expect you to say that.
It looks so bad. But
Right.
this is like, this was my first boyfriend. It was my
It's very important.
Yeah, first everything.
Oh,
Wink,
bless
wink, nudge,
him.
nudge.
Oh.
And, it was then that I realized my power, that I could just make men do things without even having to tell them. But that's a story
Right.
for another day.
And this power that you use for O-Dog hair.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
What a waste of your power.
But I love Lorenz Tate. Then, you fast forward a little bit. I'm in college. And again, I'm a little older. So I was in high school and college in the 90s, like peak black 90s time. Okay. Love Jones came out.
Okay. All right.
All right. Now.
Listen, I want to say a one-line disclaimer.
Okay. Yes.
Our lovely listeners, I do not like Love Jones. Now, you may want to send some attacks via tweet. I urge you not to, but if you must, say it with your chest. I stand by what I stand by. I don't like Love Jones. All right, continue.
Okay. Love Jones. I love this movie so much. It was also one of the first movies that I went to where I felt like the relationship was real with all of its stupidity, because they did some stupid stuff.
Yes, they fucking did. And that's the core of my hatred for fucking Love Jones. But please, carry on.
Nina, as played by the fantastic Nia
Oh,
Long.
I love you, Nia.
Darius, as played by the wonderful Lorenz Tate.
Love you, Lorenz.
They just had some back and forth kind of stuff, making stupid decisions.
Yes.
It's okay.
Is it?
Because they had somewhat of a happy ending.
Sure.
Somewhat. And there's this line that Lorenz gives when they reconnect at the end.
Okay, this I can get behind. Go on.
Okay. So Nina has come back into town. She's gone away after their relationship soured for one last time, or so she thought. And she comes back and she reads a poem, hoping that Darius is going to be there and see her. She leaves the spoken word event, and there's Darius waiting for her in the rain, because every time they got together, it was raining, right? Because this is a romance movie. So I'm going to play you a little clip of them reconnecting.
All right.
You always want what you want when you want it. Why is everything so urgent with you?
Let me tell you something. This here, right now, at this very moment, is all that matters to me. I love you. That's urgent like a motherfucker.
Oh my God. Okay. So
That is a line and a half, though,
Yes.
isn't it? It's a terrible movie, but that's a line and a half.
it's a good movie.
Sure.
But I love that line because it's this mix of the profane and the sincere, and he's trying to make it poetic, and I think it's a really good marriage of just honesty, this colloquialism, just also this man is a poet, right? He's supposed to be a poet, and he knows that he can make something flowery or whatever, but he was just like, no, this shit is real, and I'm gonna say it. I just love it. And his hairline in the movie was terrible. It was so rough.
I already said there are many things. Listen, people love Jones, and I'm happy for them and proud of them. I also have movies that people find objectionable or bad, and listen, we're all God's children. But every time I watch Love Jones, I feel a visceral irritation with everybody.
God.
Darius, Nina, all of them. I just want to knock their heads together and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But, having said that, that is almost completely washed away by that line as delivered by Lorenz, because his face just looks like, I'm out here.
Yes.
I'm giving it my everything.
Yes.
I know I've been like a shithead, but listen, I'm here now. I'm in the rain, sis.
Yes.
I'm here.
Yes.
And I find that to be wildly attractive. So shout out to you, Lorenz, aka Darius.
There's this one moment where Darius is trying to write, and Nina is taking pictures because she's a photographer.
course
She's
she
taking
is.
pictures, and she's annoying him and all this kind of stuff. And he says, "You're messing up my flow." And he just gets this bass in his voice. And you say you like a stern man.
I do. I'm so irritated with Love Jones that I can't even enjoy a stern man because he's in
Oh
Love
my
Jones.
God. Oh my gosh. The love scene to Maxwell playing in the background. We're going to put this on a Tumblr because it is so, if we can find it, it's so good. And it was one of the very few images of Black love, Black sex on screen with younger people that I could kind of relate to. And that just was so incredible for me. I made my college boyfriend go see it with me twice. And then we were at the movie theater a third time. And I was like, let's just go and see where Love Jones is right now. And so we went into it and we watched the last half of Love Jones for the third time. So I saw it 2.5 times in the theater. I love this movie. I love it to this day. Okay, I'm finished with Love Jones.
Okay, so we can then move on to something that we both aren't very happy about. And that was that movie that somehow won Best Film at the Oscars. We're talking about Crash.
Yes.
I was talking about Lorenz's very small role in Crash.
Yeah, as Peter.
As Peter. And he and Ludacris, another character, I can't remember the name of the character,
No.
but Ludacris and Lorenz Tate play these two guys who are essentially robbers.
Yeah.
And the introduction of it is just so white liberal smug. And it's annoying. Having said that, Lorenz looks specifically the most attractive I have ever found him.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, I'm not attracted to hoodlums, to use the language of my forebears. But when I saw him, I was like, you know what? Sure. Sometimes you just got to rub a car in it. I get it, Lorenz. He's very handsome.
That's what I'm. When he plays these characters that have a little bit of an edge to them,
yeah.
it's just he's mesmerizing,
Yes,
and I
he
just
is.
want to watch and see what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's why, when he popped up, more recent stuff,
Yeah.
he was in The Mindy Project.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, Lorenz, there you are. And that was lovely. And he was playing like a councilman or something, some kind of local politician.
Yeah.
And he was wearing this natty suit. And I was like, Yes, he had like a really nice coat on, and I was like, good for you. You look amazing, sweetie. You're doing amazing.
Like you said, he's kept his career going. He was recently in Girls Trip.
Yes, he was, and he was again adorable and cute,
Adorable
hot.
and
Yeah.
smooth and suave.
Smooth,
He was a
smooth.
musician.
Yeah,
Yes.
Lorenz is killing it still.
And he was a gentleman because there was at one point where he could have taken advantage of
could've
somebody
taken
drunk.
advantage. And I think that's the thing at the core of him. Like, yes, he plays angry, yip dudes
Yeah.
like really, really well.
Yeah.
But what he also does is a very kind of old school, old fashioned, gentlemanly,
Yes.
and you feel it. I mean, the thing is, and this is common to all of our thirst objects on First Aid Kit, that there is something specifically compelling about our thirst objects. Like, you want to keep watching them.
Yeah.
And Lorenz has that in spades. Like, he's this absolute, just a force. Like he has this real gentlemanly energy that you just want to kind of, you just want to see what he's going to do. And I love the idea of someone being so compelling that you have no choice but to just kind of keep your eye on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about Lorenz is you can plop him into a current setting. You can put him in the Harlem Renaissance.
Yep.
You can put him,
Put him in a Western.
Right, put him in a Western. You can make him freaking a 60s doo-wop singer.
Yes.
And he finds his role and he
does.
looks perfect wherever he is.
And that's the thing, like, and that's regardless of the aesthetic of the movie.
Yes.
Like, he looks comfortable in his own body and in his own
Yes,
space.
yes.
That is incredibly hot. And then it just so happens that he's also mad talented, which is also wildly hot. So, Lorenz Tate, we bless you wherever you may be right now. If you feel the wind ruffle, just the hair at the back of your neck, that's me and Nicole talking about you. We appreciate you, Lorenz.
And right now, I'm the blues in your left thigh, trying to become the funk in your right.
We're going to move on to another amazing 90s guy. And this is our lighter hued companion to Morris and Lorenz. And for me, is a very specific part of my 90s. Mr. Antonio Banderas.
Yes, we love black and brown solidarity.
Listen, he is Spanish. That'll do for now.
Yes.
I have such strong feelings for Antonio Banderas. And listen, we can talk about all the earlier stuff he did in the 90s. Like he did Evita. Remember that?
Right, yeah.
And he sings in it because Antonio Banderas is a triple motherfucking threat. He can do all of it. He can sing, he can dance, he can act. He is wildly, wildly sexy. Like, I can't even get over how attractive he is. Like, every time, I remember in the 90s looking at him and just giggling. Like, how is he fucking real? And he used to have, like, long hair, which I know
Yes,
Nicole's into.
yes.
I wasn't even into it, but then Antonio had it, and I was like, you know what? I could be convinced. So, yeah, I love Antonio Banderas. But here he is singing a little ditty in Evita. And I want you to listen to the strength of his voice because, bitch, it is mesmerizing.
High flying adored, so young, the instant queen, a rich, beautiful thing of all the talent, a cross between a fantasy of the bedroom and a
So listen, the lyrics aren't great. It was Evita starring Madonna, so
Right.
there was some things. But his voice is he has like a really wonderful, there's a silky texture to his voice. And he enunciates, I think because he knows he's singing in a foreign language. So he really makes the time to kind of enunciate his English words, which
Okay.
I find incredibly charming because I'm like, I understand. You just want to be understood, Antonio. I get it. I really, truly, truly love his voice. But then there's a movie for me which kind of gets the complete and utter attraction of what makes Antonio Banderas so just vital.
Okay, and what movie is that?
It came from 1995, so peak, like literally mid 90s.
Yeah, uh-huh.
It's Desperado.
Uh-huh.
It's directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Yes.
Starring Salma Hayek.
Yes.
Who, I don't even know who I fancy more in this movie, Salma or Antonio.
That was a good movie. Like
Bruh.
the whole series. Yeah.
I mean, I remember wanting to climb
Yeah.
into the screen and join them, but like, take me on your sexy adventures. Like, they just look. So his speaking voice for me is the thing. Like, he has obviously a Spanish accent. Listen, I don't want to necessarily go to Spain because I've been a couple of times. Hella fucking racist. Lol. That was my experience.
Yes.
But Antonio Banderas, I think, makes me believe that there is just a Spaniard out there waiting for me
You never know.
I never know. I never know. So let me play this clip from Desperado where he's kind of walked into the bar and he's, you know, at this point he's become like a bit of a legend. You know, the guy who comes in with the guitar case.
Right.
He's coming to shoot up all the like the little drug towns, the drug cartels. So he walks in and the bartender kind of sees him walk in. But at this point, by the way, he's dressed in like black. He's wearing a white shirt, but everything else is black.
Yes.
His hair is tied back.
Yeah.
This motherfucker looks like a steak.
And he
walks in.
Does he have spurs on? There's something jingling.
He fucking has spurs on.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't even like cowboys, but I'm like, now where is your horse? Anyway, here is Antonio walking into the bar and being greeted, and his voice. I just listen to his fucking voice.
I'm ready.
I'm just looking for work.
There's no work here.
I see. Well, is there something to drink?
Is there something in the guitar case?
Yeah.
What?
My guitar.
Never have I wanted to be more a guitar in a guitar case.
Man, but the slow reveal that the guitar is not just a guitar.
Yes.
Oh, it was
fucks me up.
perfect.
It fucks me up. Like, and when he's doing this, by the way, he's kind of biting on his jaw a little bit because he's frustrated. Let me tell you something.
Oh man, that movie was so good.
I didn't know what I was doing, but I remember arching my back when he bit his, like when he kind of ground his jaw, and I was like, "What is that?"
Oh man.
Listen,
Okay, so romance novels always have the hero clenching his jaw so that you can see the muscle flex, right? And I had never seen that in real life.
yeah,
Then there was this movie, and you could see it happening. And you're like,
Yes.
oh,
That's what it
that's
is.
what it is, and that's why it's always in a romance novel because that shit is potent as fuck.
it is. He is so lovely to look at, and he does these really small movements. Like his eyes are really kind of very, very like powerful. You know,
Yeah.
he's a very good eye actor.
Yeah.
And then you add in the jaw, you add in this. He has great cheekbones. He has like this slightly big nose, which I'm a huge fan
Yes.
of. He has like really great lips as well. Like everything just kind of works together in concert.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, I just want to. And I don't think there is a setting that is more completely perfect for Antonio Banderas than The Mask of Zorro.
All right. Yeah.
Are you a fan of this movie?
It's okay.
I mean, fine.
It's okay.
We can't all have correct opinions.
Oh,
but
my God.
what I will say is that movie for me is, I think, peak Antonio. It's also kind of peak Catherine Zeta-Jones in a way. It's peak Anthony Hopkins. Everything is just working just at the height of their powers. They're just doing some good
Yeah.
stuff. And so he's basically this guy who pretends to be like this rich guy from the royal court in Spain. And he's trying to infiltrate to find out what the plans are for this evil man who essentially locked Zorro away, the original Zorro, who's played by Anthony Hopkins. Anyway, he's now at this guy's party, and his daughter, who's played by Catherine Zeta-Jones, she's dancing with another evil man, and this evil man killed his brother. It's two things. He's trying to like get closer to Elena, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones, but also he's trying to kind of create a distraction so he can get where he needs to go.
Right.
So he walks up and Captain Love and Elena are dancing. This evil man is called Captain Love, which, you know, classic white supremacy. And they're dancing and he kind of steps up to them. And, you know, Elena also fancies Antonio's character, but she's also trying to tamp it down, which, you know, same sis, same. All right, so here we go.
Well, why don't you try looking someplace else? The lady and I were trying to dance.
You were trying.
She was succeeding.
She was succeeding. Is it? I want to succeed too, man. Teach me. And then they have this incredibly spirited, incredibly sensual, incredibly sexual dance.
And he was so funny.
He's a fantastic comedian.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, you think about the stuff he did far later, the stuff like, you know, Spy Kids and all that other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, he's like playing family and whatever. But he is a remarkably funny actor who does drama. And he did like Almodovar back in the day.
Yeah.
He did Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down. I don't know what it's called in Spanish, but in the English title was Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down. And he's fantastic in that. He did drama when he played in Philadelphia, which you may have forgotten about. That was from 93.
Yeah.
So he had like this peak period where he was like working solidly, like a movie a year for the bulk of the 90s. He was just doing his work, like head down doing his work. And then, you know, he goes back to Spain. He has his horses. I believe he makes wine. I think he also does perfume.
Oh.
Listen, you'd be rich if you're with Antonio. You know, looked after.
I remember him in Frida. It was such a sensual moment. I don't even remember the full scene, but I just remember feeling hot from it, you know.
A little sweaty.
Yeah, just being like, what am I looking at? Because it was just, he was incredible in that.
Yeah. I think the thing is, he's just an incredibly watchable man. Oddly, like, surprisingly a looming presence in my 90s pop culture diet. And I didn't realize until we were talking about doing this show, and I was like, wait, Antonio Banderas has been there.
Yeah.
He's like a solid ass presence.
Yeah.
Just looming.
Yeah.
And Antonio Banderas, you did it. You did that.
Just beautiful.
I understand. Sometimes I have that effect.
All right, Bim. We've done a little 90s Bay 101 situation here.
Yeah. The class is now currently over.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's do a little extra credit.
Oh, I see what you did then. I like it. Yes. So what's extra credit this week?
Today we're doing Thirst Sommelier.
Yay!
I love it.
I love it too.
We're going to listen to a voicemail that someone left us, and hopefully we'll be able to help them.
All right, let's do it.
Hi, this is Annabelle, and I just wanted to say that I'm a huge fan of the podcast, but I have a request for your Thirst Sommelier. I like a big man. I like a tall man. I like a broad man. I like a man with some weight to him. Like everybody else, I was thrilled to see Winston Duke pop up in Black Panther, but I wouldn't mind a more seasoned man. So maybe you all can help me out with a request. See if you could find a thick man with maybe a little more age to him. Dare I say a thick zaddy? Hope you can help and keep up the good work. Bye-bye.
Wow, Annabelle.
We love a thick zaddy.
That's not me poo-pooing your decision. It's thick zaddy. It's a terrible, terrible phrase.
Bim still has issues with zaddy, but that's okay.
I fear I always will.
Yes, it's fine.
It's fine. It's a broad church.
Yeah.
All right, Annabelle. So let's think about this. You want someone who is, you said I like a big man, I like a thick man, but with some age. Nicole, rack your brains. What are you coming up with?
I am thinking of a gentleman by the name of Eamon Walker.
Yes.
He currently plays Battalion Chief Wallace Bowden on Chicago Fire, which is on NBC. It's about the Chicago Fire Department.
Shocking. I did not see that coming.
And he is, he's got to take care of all these ragamuffin firefighters, whatever, and all their drama and all this kind of stuff.
That's very zaddy-ish.
Yeah, but he's stern but loving, all of that. But he's about 55.
Yeah, he's British, can I just say? Just a little something there for you. Shout out to you, Eamon. You're looking good and you look British and fine. I'm proud of you.
And he has a really good voice.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh,
yes,
man.
Yes. And he has quite an angular face. Like it's a very kind of old-fashioned man's face, you know? So I think he's wow, Nicole, that was spot on.
Yeah, he's pretty tall, he's broad, he looks like he would definitely keep you safe in the fire.
Yes, he has some weight to him as you requested. He has heft.
He was also in the TV series Oz on HBO from several years ago. Like, oh my gosh, almost 20 years ago, I think. So he's been in the business for a long time. Definitely check him out. That is EAMONN Walker.
Yes.
I think he could satisfy your needs.
I believe that, Annabelle. I hope that's helped you out. And if you yourself, dear listener, are looking to get some of that Thirst Sommelier help, listen, give us a call. Leave a very brief message. Call us on 765-884-4778. That's 7658-THIRST. And if you're abroad and you can't call that number, just send us a very, very brief voice memo. Send it to our email, which is thirstaidkit@buzzfeed.com. Nicole.
Hi, Bam.
We got some stories to tell, haven't we?
Yes, we do.
Oh, all right. Listen. So this week's Drabble, I was trying to kind of make it supremely 90s.
Okay.
And I think I may have overshot a little bit.
Okay.
But I wanted to make the listener feel like they were inside the 90s.
Right. I appreciate that.
Right? Because in the 90s, I was a teenager. And, you know, I had some experience of just kind of like living in that world.
Okay.
And I wanted to kind of make it so that it felt authentic. So I've gone over the top with the 90s references.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I also feel like, what are you going to do?
So who are you talking about today?
Mate, there's only one person I could talk about from the 90s.
Oh, who is that?
It's Morris Chestnut.
Aw, okay,
I
go
know.
ahead.
Morris. Hey, I have such strong feelings for Morris Chestnut. Oh, my God.
Well, let's hear those feelings.
All right.
Let's go.
I've told him it's a bit cheesy, but when Morris picks me up, he insists on opening the car door for me. His hand finds my hip as he leans over to open the door, and I catch a whiff of his cologne. It's vetiver, and it suits him, subtle but strong. And the truth is, I don't hate the door opening that much. It's more than a little bit charming, just like Morris. Tonight, he tells me, is a surprise. My instructions were, in his words, to dress like you always dress. Amazing. And so I am wearing a calf-length wrap dress and wedges. When he slides into the car, he presents his surprise. 2 tickets to see Erykah Badu after dinner. My delight fuels his, and his broad smile makes me reach across the console and kiss him. It goes on longer than we were both expecting. And when we pull apart, we're both breathless, but still smiling. With my hand still on the nape of his neck, I press my forehead to his and ask, should we skip dinner and go straight to the concert? He nods against me. Stay right there, he says. I'm going to get your door.
I hate you so much.
You love me.
Oh, my God.
So that's my Morris travel. But listen, I want to know who you've written about and what you've written about them. I'm all in.
Oh, my goodness.
What's it gonna be?
A nice info callback. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I am talking about Lorenz Tate today.
Wow, what a shocker. I did not expect
I know,
that.
it's so unexpected. Yeah, so I'm just going to get into it.
Listen, I know you want to, so go right ahead.
Lorenz and I were supposed to go out, but PMS knocked me right into the dumps. I told him to go on without me, but he came home and grilled some steaks and baked potatoes instead, because he knows when I get like this, I need a nice medium steak and some carbs. He was outside on the patio while I snuggled down on the sofa in the sunroom, reading and listening to music, trying to rebalance my mood. He joined me on the couch and picked up my feet to rub them, but that annoyed me. I didn't want my feet touched, so I pulled them away. He said, "Oh, it's like that, huh?" and positioned himself over me, twisting his head in front of my face, teasing me and working my nerves until a reluctant smile broke through. "Boy, quit playing," I say, trying to move away from him so I could read my book. "Oh, baby's in a bad mood," he said, and dropped his head into my neck, licking at the fine sheen of sweat.
Get the fuck out.
He gave a small grunt of pleasure before he raised his head to look at me. "You okay?" he asked, the playfulness gone, genuine concern folding his brow. Silently, I pulled his head back down to my neck with one hand, the other dropping my book to the floor.
You don't like to read, Nicole? You don't like to read books?
Sometimes, you need something stronger than a book to help PMS.
Is that what you need?
That's what
All right.
happens.
Good to know. Good to know. So, steak and chill, yeah? All right. Cool. Good story.
A nice little pink steak.
Do you know what? That sounds horrifically euphemistic, and I'm so upset with you right now.
I didn't say anything.
I know you didn't. You just said it with your eyes. All right, listen. Listeners, you can vote. We like to kind of give you a day to bed into the episode before we put the poll up, but it will be on our Twitter, which is at First Aid Kit. And you can pick. You can, get some Lorenzen steak or some Morris and Erykah. It's up to you, fam. Don't forget to send us your own drabbles, your own fanfic. Mm-hmm. We're always very receptive of it. We like seeing people be creative about their faves, and we welcome all of your drabbles. You can send those to firstaidkit@buzzfeed.com. And we'll be back next week with even more fanfic, more drabbles, more terrible euphemisms for you to kind of let your eyes glaze over to.
First Aid Kit is produced by us, Bim Adewumi and Nicole Perkins, Julia Furlan, and TK Dutes.
Our music is by Tanya Morgan, and you can follow us on Twitter at First Aid Kit. We're also on Tumblr at firstaidkitpodcast.tumblr.com, and sometimes we even answer questions over there. We're also on Twitter at TN Whiskey Woman, that's TN Whiskey with an E, woman, and Bimadew, Bimadew.
Also, dear listeners, my name, Nicole, is spelled Nichole. Remember. Add the H. Don't forget, if you're looking to refresh your thirst palate, you can call us and let us help you. Give us a call at 765-884-4778. That's 765-8-THIRST.
We love you for listening, and so that's why we get to ask you to please do us a favor, and that is to go to Apple Podcasts and rate and review the show. It'll help other people discover us and learn to love us like you have. Also, we love it when you tell us what you think. We like to hear that. Feel free to live tweet your listen and use the hashtag TACPod. And you can also contact us via email at firstaidkit@buzzfeed.com.
And we'll be back next week. In the meantime, stay thirsty, friends.
But every time I see Morris Chestnut, I want to just lick his face.
Yeah.
He just looks like he tastes good.
He's just smooth. And even.
And
just
I feel like I'm a church.
Buttery.
Buttery. That's exactly it. So like something good has been churned.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, why is it so silky looking?
Just whip it up.
All right.